Chapter 9. Appreciating Others and Yourself. I have included this chapter because I believe that included in appreciation must be the appreciation of your loved ones and, of course, yourself. Many people forget to appreciate those around them, but once again, appreciation, even at its most basic level, has a magical effect on your life and those around you. When you take time to appreciate the people around you, your relationships become quite beautiful with everyone. Sometimes, when we lack appreciation in this area, our friendships and family relationships can become difficult for us. Something to ask yourself is, when was the last time I spent some time purposefully looking for the good in the people around me? Because we all have busy lives, we can find ourselves forgetting to appreciate those around us. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but sometimes other people are frustrating, and that causes me to be unhappy. I realize that you may think this is the case, but to become happy regardless, you need to remember this one key point in your life. No one is in control of your happiness, except for you. Think back over what we have learned in this book. Your emotions are energy in motion. Albert Einstein himself taught us that this emotional energy is what everything we see around us is made up of. That is our reality. And Dr. Emoto has proven to us that by changing our intention, our thoughts, or our emotions, we can affect physical things outside of us. But does that affect other people too? Yes, it does. It also works in practical terms. Think of it like this. Imagine you have someone who sets out to appreciate you. They appreciate the things you do for them. They appreciate your opinion. They appreciate the little things. When you do something for them, they thank you dearly. When you speak to them, they listen intently and appreciate everything you say. It is not that they are perfect. They just appreciate you. Let me ask you, is it more likely that you will appreciate them if they appreciate you? Is it likely that you will do things for them if every time you do, they thank you and appreciate it? Is it likely that you will have great conversations and argue with them far less if they appreciate what you have to say? This sounds so simple, and yet it is profound. Few people think that appreciating someone for what they do will actually inspire them to do more. They instead think that nagging at a person and showing their dislike of what they don't do will somehow help. This is usually the reason for the breakdown in relationships. Neither parties involved set out to appreciate, to purposefully look for the good in their partner. If everyone did this, of course, the world would be an entirely different place. There would be fewer arguments in the world, fewer divorces, fewer problems, fewer criminals. In fact, the world would be a much more peaceful place. And the answer is so simple. Appreciate the people who are in your life right now, regardless of whether they or not they took out the rubbish last night, regardless of whether they cooked you a tasty meal yesterday or not, regardless of what they have said to you or what they have not said to you. Just take time to appreciate them. Please note, this does not mean that you go out of your way to please this person. Pleasing is totally different. It is not that you please, it is that you appreciate. I know that this can be more difficult in extreme circumstances, and sometimes leaving a relationship is the best thing you can do. But appreciating people regardless has too many benefits and too many good things for me to say any different. Having been in emotionally traumatic relationships myself, this has still been a great exercise for me. Try to remember that everything in your life is a reflection of the emotions that you are sending out at any given time. This is the law of E equals mc squared. Your emotions are creating the world around you. Appreciation will help you remove yourself from a relationship that is hurting you. It will also stop you from blame and anger and hatred, which are no good for you to be sending out to anyone, because only you receive the bad energy that you are trying to send out. They do not. For what you send to someone, you only receive back. A great quote by Gautama Buddha, who famously said, "Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die," absolutely covers this point. When you send out hatred or anger or frustration of any kind, you are not doing yourself any good at all. You are actually poisoning yourself with these negative emotions. And what's more, most of the time, the person who you are sending this negative emotion to doesn't receive it like you would wish them. So hold on to anger no longer, because this statement by the Buddha is a profound statement indeed. Appreciating yourself. Being able to appreciate yourself is key in life and in relationships. This is because when you set out to appreciate yourself, you no longer ask people to do what is impossible and try to make you feel worthy by having them appreciating you. This is why I believe many relationships struggle. In fact, I've drawn the illustration for you. You have two people here, both wanting to be appreciated, both needing to be appreciated, and both offering to give the other person appreciation. Now, this image shows how many people enter their relationships. The problem with this is that each partner relies on the other person for appreciation. Now, you might think that it's wonderful if you can find someone who appreciates you. But when this becomes harmful is when you and them cannot find happiness without each other around, because you do not feel appreciated without each other. This leads to relationships where people have to be around each other 24/7. And in these kinds of relationships, neither partner can be happy if the other person isn't around. The only problem with this kind of a relationship is that it greatly reduces the level of life that we enjoy. Variety is essential to a happy life. It is the variety of this world that makes it so charming and magical. So when you only rely on one thing to make you happy, you actually reduce your ability for happiness. What's more, it really isn't fair asking someone else to be your happiness for you. You also limit your life by not exploring this variety and making choices for yourself on what you enjoy and do not enjoy. And this is what happens to many 24/7 partners. The reason for this is that their happiness becomes pleasing the other person in order to get the appreciation that they desire. What then happens is they don't set out to please themselves any longer, and they set themselves up for failure. This is because nobody can please anyone else enough to really make them happy. That kind of a reliance upon anyone is unhealthy. It's like an addiction. And just like any addiction that makes you feel happy from the outside in, it cannot and does not last. I believe this is one of the reasons for many breakdowns in marriages and partnerships in life. We expect the other person to appreciate us, and we don't set about to appreciate ourselves. So here is an example of what self-appreciation would look like in a relationship. The two people set out to appreciate who they are. They appreciate themselves. They give themselves love and appreciation and attention. And what they offer to the other person is that they will share this life and appreciate that life together. In this kind of a relationship, each person sets out to appreciate themselves first and foremost, and then they offer to appreciate life alongside their partner. But they don't ask each other to appreciate themselves. What this means is that life can be shared. Good times can be shared, but reliance is not necessary. This kind of a relationship is a healthy kind. It is when each partner can go and do things and be happy with or without each other. This means that if Katie wants to go to the cinema for a girly night and John wants to go to the pub for a boys' night out, both can, and they do not need to attend the cinema or the pub together. This maintains a healthy individuality for each person in the relationship, and these kinds of relationships are much likely to last longer than the previously described. In this relationship, nobody has to give up what they please, what they like, to please the other person, and this leaves everyone feeling happier all round. This kind of a relationship, however, requires a high trust level and both partners to be emotionally together before they enter the relationship. It requires that each person is happy to begin with, because essentially, finding happiness in a relationship or asking someone to be your happiness for you is unfair to each other person. Happiness is for each one of us to create within ourselves, by ourselves. It is no one's responsibility but our own. Self-appreciation is key in relationships and in life. When you take time to appreciate who you are, you begin to see how you can make an impact on the world. When you appreciate yourself, you will see that there are skills and talents that you have that will impact other people. For example, you may be able to sing really well and inspire others with your voice, or you may be able to play piano with a magic that moves people. Whatever your skill or talent is, appreciating who you are will help you find it and see what gifts that you have to offer to the world. Take a page and write down all the good things that you can do really well. Write the question, what am I really good at the top of the page, and start your list. Be appreciative of simple things like I'm good at getting up in the morning, I'm good at reading, I'm good at getting to work every day. Start simple and then begin to really ask yourself what are your greatest strengths. You want to ease yourself in and then find your flow, and you will begin to see that there are many strengths within you right now, often ones that you take for granted. You probably never see them because you haven't taken the time to look. So do this process as regularly as you can. Note down what you like about you. What do you enjoy about your character? Is it your ability to work hard or your determination? Is it that you never quit on people or your ability to love? What do you really like about you? Spend quality time appreciating you, and you will find that your relationships will improve. In fact, you might be quite astonished at how much better people respond around you when you do not ask for them to give you appreciation. It is quite amazing to see the change. Chapter 9. Appreciating others and yourself. I have included this chapter because I believe that included in appreciation must be the appreciation of your loved ones and, of course, yourself. Many people forget to appreciate those around them, but once again, appreciation, even at its most basic level, has a magical effect on your life and those around you. When you take time to appreciate the people around you, your relationships become quite beautiful with everyone. Sometimes when we lack appreciation in this area, our friendships and family relationships can become difficult for us. Something to ask yourself is, when was the last time I spent some time purposefully looking for the good in the people around me? Because we all have busy lives, we can find ourselves forgetting to appreciate those around us. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but sometimes other people are frustrating, and that causes me to be unhappy. I realize that you may think this is the case, but to become happy regardless, you need to remember this one key point in your life. No one is in control of your happiness, except for you. Think back over what we have learned in this book. Your emotions are energy in motion. Albert Einstein himself taught us that this emotional energy is what everything we see around us is made up of. That is our reality. And Dr. Emoto has proven to us that by changing our intention, our thoughts, or our emotions, we can affect physical things outside of us. But does that affect other people too? Yes, it does. It also works in practical terms. Think of it like this. Imagine you have someone who sets out to appreciate you. They appreciate the things you do for them,